Hey everyone, it's Joe Jacobi here. Go to greentv.com. Today's report brought to you by Southern Hearth and Patio on the web at southernhearth.com. So in part one of our segments on green homes, Ethan Collier from Collier Construction and Trey Wheeler from TWH Architechts talked about the nuts and bolts of a green home, what it is, what it's not, how to access it. One of the big points was these guys weren't after building a green home as much as building a better home. Now, in part two, Ethan and Trey take us on a nuts and bolts tour of a green home under construction.
One of the things we didn't talk about when we were talking about the roofing, and one of the reasons for using metal, is that it does provide some resistance to radiant heat gain. And we know now that radiant heat gain is one of the main reasons why our homes heat up during the summertime. So not only have we used this metal roofing, which helps reflect some of the sun's energy back, we've also, underneath these eaves, you can see that we've used this sheathing product on the roof that's got an aluminum facing on the back of it. And that blocks 99.9% of all radiant heat. And so rather than the space underneath the roof getting warmer and warmer and warmer when the sun's hitting it, it reflects that heat back, and so the temperature on the underside of the roof is the same as the temperature on the outer side of the roof, and so we've blocked that radiant heat.
We had this hallway. We had all the daylight out there. The hallway was dark. I said, cut holes in it. Now we'll infill those with kind of an opaque material or semi-transparent material, but you know it's going to let light through. So here again, we don't have any temporary lighting in the house. It's an overcast day, pretty darn cloudy, and we can get along just fine without additional light.
This piece of flashing material actually wraps around inside the framing, because we know that with time, any window could leak, no matter how well it's sealed. And so what we want to do is we want to plan on keeping as much water out as possible, but we also want to allow for, if there ever is water to get inside the wall, it has a way out, and it doesn't rot the framing out. So we've put this piece of flashing on the bottom, and that allows for, if water ever gets around that window, it comes out and kicks it out at the bottom and gets it out of the framing and out of the house towards the outside. And then we come back around the outside of the window with this other straight flashing. And that not only seals out water, but it seals out air. What most people don't know is that drywall has the ability to resist lateral loads. And so what we've done, and you can't see it now, is that this piece of drywall right here is actually continuous all the way through every single interior wall intersection. And so, the basic gist of it is the insulation, the drywall in this home is continuous around the entire exterior. There's no break. Typically, this piece of drywall would hit this wall and stop, and then on the other side of this wall it would start again. In this case, this wall was drywall before this wall was finished being built, and that allowed for us to take the drywall around the entire exterior, which becomes then a structural component of the house and adds to the durability, even resistance in the scenario of an earthquake or tornado, those sorts of things. And so we're taking a component that's already being used in your house, we're increasing its thickness by 1/8 of an inch, and now it's a structural component. And again, it doesn't cost more money. 5/8 Type-X drywall is marginally more than 1/2 inch drywall. This is a good example of some advanced framing that we used in this house. This is a header hanger. And so typically what you would have here is you would have this is a load-bearing header. So weight's coming down on this header, and the weight is being distributed to both sides of this door. And typically what you would have is you would have another framing member, another stud, that went right here and distributed that weight all the way to the foundation. What we've done is we've used this metal clip. By doing so, with every single door opening and every single window opening in this house, we've eliminated 2 studs. But by eliminating one 10-foot stud, we eliminate 1 square foot of space that's being taken up in the wall by lumber. And by eliminating 1 square foot of space that's being taken up by lumber and replacing it with insulation, we increase the R value of the wall. That's how in a house like this, we take a typical house where you use typical conventional framing methods, and you have an R9 if you count all of the lumber and all of the insulation. By eliminating a lot of this unnecessary lumber, we get the R value in walls like this up to R21. So we more than double the R value. And also we've reduced a lot of lumber. So for every single door and window opening, we've eliminated 2 pieces of lumber. We've added 2 square feet. I mean, that's a space this big. We've added that much insulation and taken out that much lumber. So it has a huge impact on the energy efficiency of this home. It's pretty simple, didn't cost any more money.
Contrary to what has been kind of the paradigm architect-contractor relationship, is we've really approached this as a team effort. The input from Ethan's employees, even the subcontractors. I mean, we've consulted with the insulation crew, with the masons, certainly the heating and air folks. We've all worked together. It's been a team approach, not a one-sided deal. The idea of a master builder is kind of old and done with as far as I'm concerned.
So a huge thank you to the Wheelers for opening up their home under construction to goldtogreentv.com. If you want to learn more about Ethan Collier and Collier Construction, check them out on the web at collierbuild.com. If you want to learn more about Trey Wheeler and his architecture work, you can find him on the web at twharch.com. Thanks for tuning in, and Chattanooga's Green Story continues right here at goldtogreentv.com.